You see people going on their kitchen floor at Trisha Paytas, who I love, but then you see me up high on my kitchen counter. Hey guys, what's poppin'? It's Storytime. Welcome back to another video where today we are somewhere new. I'm literally trying to figure out this angle because I don't know if I'm gonna look okay. I'm still breaking out, so like that's fun. But I have hot chocolate because it's cold outside. Really hot, and it could be because I have this jacket on, but like 2020. Me being a basic high schooler for 5 minutes. Let me tell you guys, okay, this right now, this was inspired by the Queen Trisha. She started like a whole wave of like, I feel like just being comfortable enough to record yourself literally anywhere. Literally anywhere. I am literally not on my kitchen floor, but I'm on my freaking kitchen ceiling basically. All the way up the freaking top. Like my ceiling is literally like I'm on my counter. Shook. The house is gonna break. I thought I would try something new. And this is what it is. I don't know if it looks good. I don't know. I know the lighting is like really like weird. Like it's like blue, but like it doesn't look good. Like I can't help that. Today I am doing a story time. Let me tell you something. I have so many freaking stories. I can tell you all. But the problem is, sorry if I don't look at the camera by the way. I like use the front part of my, like I used to use the back of my camera until I realized that it's a good camera quality. So it like shows all my like, like even this does, but like, so now I use the front part and like now I just like look at the front because like I'm moving around. Like, sorry if I'm looking at the viewfinder, just gonna deal with my narcissistic self, I guess. But anyway, yeah, so I actually have a lot of story times, to be honest, but I always forget, like my memory's actually trash. I just have to take off my glasses. I feel like it would be better. I don't know. Okay, I feel like this angle might be a little bit better. Yes, story time. What I was saying, if I can concentrate, I have lots of story times. I just always forget them. Like even if they are like the most interesting types of story times, I always forget them, and that's why I never have done like a story time, because I would love to. I have so many like interesting stories, and a lot of times, to be honest, a lot of my stories are more like minimalistic, minuscule, tiny, and I don't really want to like just tell you like a 5-second story, because I feel like that's not a story time. Like when your whatever used to read to you, your cousin, sister, whatever used to read to you before you went to bed, or if you just read to yourself because you're what is it called? I don't know what's going on. I'm so tired. I have so much to do this, but I didn't want to forget. That's what I'm trying to say. I got inspired to do this because I didn't want to forget. So last night something happened with me and Apple. Yes, we're gonna get into the story time. I know this is a very long intro, but I need preface. Before we get into the story time, I need to give you a background on like why I'm telling you the story. Because like I said, like I wouldn't be telling you the story if it was a small story. And this story that I'm about to tell you is actually really small, and it's not even that interesting. But it made me remember an interesting story. I'm very annoying. So if you are annoyed at the story the same way I am, make sure you freaking hold onto your kitchen cabinets because it's about to rock your house. Glasses are back on. I'm literally changing the whole freaking scene. Okay, we're gonna get used to it. We're gonna enjoy this. So, I have a student account with Apple on Apple Music because I am a college student. So I have a student account. And the way that works is basically you have to like sign up for that. You have to like get approved. You have to say the college that you're going to, get that approved, give them your email for your college, and just all that fun stuff. So I did that like a long time ago when I got Apple Music, and I love it so much because I have a bunch of Apple products. Keep that in mind. Like I have all Apple products. Like it's not like a braggadocious kind of thing. I don't even know if that's a word, but it's not a bragging type of thing. It's just, for this story, it needs to be known that like no matter how much I've dealt with Apple, like I still buy their products. Like that's my love for them. I have Apple Music and I get this notification on my phone. Now my phone is off. Well, it's recording right now, so I was gonna be like, my phone's off. At this point, it was off. It was off. And I got a notification, and it was basically from Apple, and it was a notification, and it was like, since you have Apple Music student account, you get Apple TV for like free for a while. I don't remember what the right wording was, but it did not give me a specific date. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, I love that. I wanted to watch a show called like The Dickinsons on there because Haley Steinfeld was playing in there. And I was like, oh, I love her. So I was like, okay, cool. So I recently got Disney Plus, so I thought maybe that was why, but it said because it was Apple Music, so like I didn't even, you know, whatever. So I go in and I tap the notification to see if it'll elaborate, because like I'm so confused. I'm like, how long? Why? Like, do I have to like accept the subscription? What it includes and all this stuff, because subscriptions always end up making you pay for money either way. Like, okay, so I'll explain that later, but basically like I was afraid I was gonna have to pay money to Apple without me even agreeing to anything, because right when I clicked on the freaking notification, it just brought me to the TV app and like was just like the app. Like, I don't know how else to explain it to you guys. Like, it didn't say any notification, it didn't say any like information, it just was on the freaking app. And so I'm like, oh, this is weird. And so I go to play like The Dickinsons or whatever that freaking show is called, and it starts playing, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so cool, like I have Apple TV free. And I'm like, but why? Like, I was confused, like, and I couldn't find any information online to why this was happening. And I was freaking out because I've had a problem with Apple before with subscriptions and stuff like that, and I wanted to make sure that this was like not gonna charge me later and not gonna whatever. And just to be clear, this is not me bashing Apple. I love Apple so freaking much, hence why I have so many of their products. I guess I've had like minimal bad experiences with them. Mainly they're like employees, so like you can't base a whole company off of like a few bad apples kind of thing. So I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna call Apple later when I have the time, because I was busy. So I call Apple later that day, yesterday, and I'm on the phone with this guy. And right away, he's like already really blunt. Like, he won't let me finish my sentences, he's interrupting, and I interrupt pretty badly too, but like when he interrupts, he like interrupts like rudely. It's like when I interrupt someone, I'll be like, oh yeah, blah, 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 and then I'll like stop if like I know they're not stopping, because like that's how you do. So I just already started getting like vibes from him that he was not gonna be cool. So we were talking, and I was like, hey, like I told him the whole story. I was like, is it gonna like, it like sign me up for it and blah, blah, blah. And right when I said it subscribed me, I was like, it signed me up for it without me like accepting it, he was like, oh no, Apple doesn't do that. And I was like, okay, now you may be thinking the same thing that I was, which was, but it did. But I didn't say anything because I was tired and I don't like confrontations. So I was like, okay, so help me out. And so he was like looking online, and then he was looking through my subscription. He was like, that's weird, you're not subscribed. And I was like, I know, I told you that. Like, okay, so he was looking on my account, and so we were just basically repeating the same thing. I was like, it subscribed me for it, and he's like, no you didn't, no it didn't. And so, but he's literally, while he's saying no it didn't, he's saying it, like he'll say like, Apple doesn't do that, Apple doesn't subscribe you for things, and then he'll like look back at my subscriptions and be like, that's so weird, I wonder what happened, I wonder what's going on. So like, I know he doesn't know what the frick is happening. Like, so like, why are you gonna tell me and make me feel stupid? Like, I understand what you're trying to say, what Apple is and isn't and does, but like, and I literally told him, I said, I'm not trying to question your judgment, you work there, I don't, but something is happening because I am subscribed to it. After like us talking back and forth, I go and play a video on there, and it actually starts playing, and I'm like, okay, so I am subscribed. Like, he also kept saying like, you have to sign up for it, so go on your screen and like hit this button, hit subscribe, because you have to sign up for it. And I'm like, there is no button to subscribe because I already am, like, it already, like, and that's when I clicked on a TV show and it started playing, and I was like, I'm literally watching a TV show now while on the phone with you. Like, I don't know how do you explain that. And he was like, oh, okay, let me go get an Apple TV consultant. Why would you not get an Apple TV consultant the moment my mouth uttered the words Apple TV? Why? I digress. It was very annoying though, because this whole conversation, there was a point where I was just gonna hang up because I was like, okay, he obviously knows what he's talking about. Like, I guess it's just something that I did or whatever. And I'm glad I didn't, because if I did, I would have been stressed about it way more. So after he like gets the person, he's like muting me and unmute, or like putting me on hold and not putting me on hold. But like every time he untakes me from hold, he just says, wait 1 second, we'll be right there, and puts me back on hold. So I don't even have a second to say like, okay, or like whatever, to let him know that I'm still on the line. And yeah, I'm sure like it says like caller still on the line on his side or whatever, but still, you know what I mean? So he obviously doesn't like me, I don't like him, so it's okay. He leaves and he doesn't even let me say bye to him. He just, because I want that personal touch. No, I honestly didn't care. It was just kind of rude because he was like, okay, here he is now, bye. And he like left and I was like, okay. And I literally didn't say anything. So that was fun. And then this other guy that came on, he was annoying too, but he wasn't as rude. He was just more annoying and he interrupted as well. And I mean, I can't say much because like I interrupt a lot too, but like I said, like it's a different type of vibe. So he is literally telling me the same exact thing as the other person. Every time the word, like I say like, oh, it subscribed me, like he's like, oh no, Apple doesn't do that. And mind you, the other person that I was on the line with was like, oh, it might be a glitch, so like, are you really gonna complain about it? And I'm like, I'm not complaining, but like, I don't want it to charge me by accident. And he was like, well, Apple doesn't do that. So the next guy that I'm calling basically says that too. He doesn't say about the complaining thing or the glitch thing. He mentions it possibly being like a glitch or something, but he doesn't say like, oh, why are you complaining? He just says like, Apple doesn't charge you automatically. And that's when I just got like I was at this point, like up here, like, and I don't get angry like that. Like I wasn't like angry on the phone. I was really nice. I was really sweet. I was just like, you know, okay, whatever kind of thing. But this is the point where like I was just freaking out because when you have authority in your position, and I work retail, so like I kind of understand, and you have a really nice customer that is obviously going through something that you clearly don't know about, and you are telling me you don't know what's going on, there is no right, you have no right to tell that customer that they're wrong. Because obviously, like that's literally what they were telling me. They were like, oh no, Apple doesn't do that, Apple doesn't do that. Literally telling me what I was saying was wrong. So that was like the last straw when this guy was just like, oh no, Apple can't charge you like automatically. And I was like, you know what? I literally said, I said, you know what? And this isn't verbatim, this is just like, I was like, you know what? Something is happening. Like I said it just like that, like laughing. I was like, something is happening. Like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a glitch. I don't know why. I'm like subscribed, but like I'm not. And I said, so honestly, I understand what you're saying. Like Apple doesn't automatically do this, but either there was a glitch or something, and if there was a glitch, that means anything could happen. That means I could be charged. Like that means that this could happen. I'm like, so you telling me that like doesn't, like just help me. Like I don't, that doesn't mean anything to me right now, because right now a glitch did happen. And he was just like, oh, okay, we'll figure it out. And I'm like, yeah, cause I like it's so stupid to keep saying like, Apple doesn't do that when obviously not Apple, maybe, because if it is a glitch, technically that's not Apple itself, but just a technological problem, but still like it happened. So, you know, like stop making me feel stupid and wrong. And so we ended up getting everything fixed. So like the story time isn't that interesting because at the end everything was fine. Apple didn't make a mistake, so he was right. But in the moment, it looked like Apple was making a mistake. And so basically, but Apple didn't make the mistake to not inform their freaking employees about what promotions they had. Because this whole time I kept asking them, are you sure there's no promotions going on with Apple Music and Apple TV? No bundles, no nothing at all? And they kept telling me no, which there is no bundles or anything. But there is a promotion going on where, and this is what the guy said at the end of my phone call, he reached out to a senior freaking advisor and he was like, okay, so there's an Apple Music thing going on where if you're a student and you have an Apple account, which is like a separate thing, that's why I was telling you guys earlier, that you get Apple TV for free, Apple TV Plus for free, the length of the time that you are a student. I cannot tell you how ballistic I went in my head. I did not go ballistic on this guy. I literally just said, see, I told you I'm not crazy. I told you, I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew they were doing something to me without me knowing. Like, I knew it. And he was just like, yeah, okay. And then, like, we ended the conversation there. This was very long because this wasn't even the main story time. It wasn't even that interesting. It was more of me, like, ranting. But yeah, that happened, and I wasn't gonna tell that story because I was like, it's really not that interesting and it's really small, even though I seem to elongate everything in my life. But then I got inspired and was like, oh wait, I have another Apple story time, a really really inconvenient coincidences. So let's get into that.
Money